So everybody, I'm Jay from Atlassian. Thanks for coming. Exciting day for us, a lot that we've planned to tell you today. Before we get started though, we need you to all sign an indemnity form. So we'll be passing those down the aisles just to release us from liability in the building. Actually, the reason that you're wearing construction hats is we're hoping that we can hand out hammers and saws and get you to help us finish the building after the announcement. I won't waste any time because we can get to drinks after we share the news. So it's my pleasure to introduce our co-founder and CEO, Mike Cannon-Brookes, to the stage.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. It's great to see so many people here in San Francisco supporting us for our launch night. It's also the first time that we are attempting something a little experimental and live streaming this launch around the world. So please bear with us if it doesn't go as planned. So we have a whole series of Atlassian user groups meeting to watch this around the planet. From Uzbekistan, where we do have an Atlassian user group, to Mumbai, where one of our Indian user groups is meeting for breakfast in a cafe to watch, and all the way across to Stockholm in Sweden, where one of our oldest user groups is meeting. And we're going to try an experimental crossover there to see how they are going. Come in, Sweden. It is experimental. Hey! Tommy!
Han kom in och så tar en cigarr och så var det alltid det där med satt några vid bord bredvid och blev irriterade lite sånt där.
This is going wonderfully. So the cross is working, but we've lost Tommy. Oh well. God kval Ferik Tommy, which I'm told is good evening Sweden. I apologize if I've got that wrong. What Tommy was going to tell you is the only place they could find open in Stockholm at 1 a.m. in the morning was a nightclub. So they've actually rented the top of the nightclub, and I think they may have started the shots a bit early. I think they got there at 10. So apologies for that. What is amazing though is we have over 38 different user groups meeting at the moment. Hopefully they all haven't started the shots that early. So that puts more than 1,000 people, plus all the folks watching the live stream around the world, which is incredible. So thank you to all the fanatical and loyal Atlassian fans around the world that are watching this right now. Secondly, what it illustrates, and I think is wonderful about it, is the truly global nature of both the Atlassian customer base, but also software development today. If you think about it, these people are all building software in all of these different countries around the world. Again, I must apologize for the hard hats. For those watching, you may not know, but in San Francisco, we're actually in a construction site wearing construction helmets. That's because our Atlassian office is not quite as finished as we had hoped it would be by this time. I'm told that they did not use Jira or any of our tools to manage the project. Don't worry, it's nothing to do with us. Why are we moving offices? Well, quite simply, our parking arrangements have become more than experimental at the moment, and we're getting very, very creative with the desking and stacking of people in the old office. But it turns out that construction is actually a really good metaphor for Atlassian's mission as a business. If you think about what we do and what we're trying to do, what we're quite simply trying to do is allow software teams around the world to take their ideas, their concepts, their dreams, if you like, and construct them into finished products. And just like constructing a building like we're in today, it's a hard process. It takes a lot of phases, and it's difficult to do. It's difficult to do really well. We understand the process from conception through planning, building, coding, and eventually, hopefully, launching a successful product at the end. We also understand that just like construction, software has changed. It's no longer just about developers. It's about a holistic team of people around your organization. It's as much about getting testers and managers and the marketing team and the designers to all chat and collaborate. To produce the amazing applications that you guys make needs all these people to come and work together really well, right? All of these folks are involved in the construction process. And that's really quite simply our mission as a business, is to help you run that construction process in your software teams more efficiently so that you can build all the amazing things that I get to use today, whether the software's in my phone, on my TV, on my desktop, and a server in the cloud. And because of our understanding of this, construction process, I think is why we've been so successful to date. We now have more than 17,000 customers around the world. And I'd like to talk about this number for just a second, because one of our values as a company is open company, no bullshit. And we're absolutely no bullshit with this number. This is 17,000 individual companies that use Atlassian's tools. So as an example there in the top corner, Cisco is one of those 17,000 companies, despite the fact that they run more than 50 servers around the business. Right? The US Army is one of those 17,000 companies. They're up towards the 100 server mark. And we have plenty of companies that are in the 50s to hundreds of servers. So this is not like some of our competitors will give you large vanity metrics. This is a true, unique number of companies around the world. Now, we took this opportunity to have a look at how many active servers, how many licenses of Atlassian stuff was running right now. And it turns out it's an incredibly large 125,000 applications we have running today. That's instances of our software that's running live. If you think about the number of teams that's empowering to make software, it's truly incredible. 5 to 50,000 users on each one of those applications gives you numbers in the millions and millions of people who use Atlassian's tools on a daily basis. So 9 years into the business, we're a long way towards our mission of empowering teams around the world to build awesome tools. But today we think we can do a lot better. 2011 to date has been a momentous year for Atlassian already. We've got huge amounts of new things, huge amounts of launches that have come out. So you've probably been to some of our marketing events throughout the year. We sold out our 4th summit in a row in June. And at Atlas Camp just last month, we had more developers and partners turn up than ever before to talk about building on top of the Atlassian platform. Thank you to all those folks who attended. We also launched 2 new products during the year in Team Calendars for event management within the enterprise on top of Confluence, and in Bonfire, which is a really innovative web application testing tool that if you haven't tried it, I thoroughly encourage you to try it. As a power of the Atlassian platform, we have more than 4,000 customers using those 2 applications already, and they've been launched for less than 4 months. We also made our first strategic investment in a company called Cloud9 that makes an online IDE. It's the IDE of the future, and we're really bullish about its prospects going forward. Just in the last 6 weeks, we've had 2 major announcements, and this is our 3rd, to continue the momentum. So 6 weeks ago, we launched Confluence 4.0. Now, we took a lot of time to talk to the customers about what the number one thing that they used in Confluence that they wanted improved. And quite simply, the biggest piece of feedback with Daylight in second place was that they wanted the editor to be better. So we took one of our best teams of engineers and spent a year building what I believe is fundamentally the best editor for web content that is available today. So I'm going to give you a brief demonstration of this for those who haven't seen it.
Let's create a page where the marketing team can plan their next big event. It's easy for users of any level to get started with Confluence's new rich text editor. A streamlined toolbar provides quick access to all the formatting options you need, and rich content like this info box that we'll use to make sure everyone sees the date and time of the event. Familiar keyboard shortcuts and innovative features like auto-formatting let power users thrive. Intuitive features like drag and drop make light work of creating pages that are packed full of rich content. Let's insert a table to outline the tasks that need to be completed in preparation for the event. Just like Twitter and Facebook, mentions make it easy to notify teammates of content they should know about. An instant email notification lets Matt jump right into Confluence, edit the page, and update the status of his task. Using the widget connector, we can embed the location of the venue using Google Maps. Before saving the page, let's make sure Julia remembers to book the caterers. We'll use autocomplete to insert a link to a Confluence page that has the contact details for preferred vendors. Lastly, we'll embed the deck of slides that Matt drafted for the keynote for Jerry to review. Once all the tasks have been identified and updated by their assignee, it's time to share the page with the rest of the team to make sure everyone's up to date. If something's not clear, it's easy to add a comment to the page and start a threaded discussion to find the answer.
So that's a brief demonstration of the amazing new Confluence editor with the auto text, auto formatting, the best table editing in the industry, which is something you guys said was really important. And again, it speaks to our mission of trying to empower teams outside of just developers to get involved in this process. We've been getting some excellent feedback from you guys who've used it so far. I'm going to bring up some of my favorites. I like the Atlassian hit a home run with this. I believe that's an American metaphor for doing very well. The WYSIWYG editor is damn awesome, the best collaboration system I've ever seen. So thank you to everyone who's used it. Thank you to the reams and reams and reams of feedback we've had since 4.0 was launched. Please keep it coming. We're not done by any stretch of the imagination. You'll be seeing 4.1 very, very shortly with a whole bunch of new editing features built on top of it. So that was our biggest launch of the year in Confluence 4. And just 3 weeks ago, we had a large announcement around DVCS, or Distributed Version Control. So we bought Bitbucket, which is a distributed version control hosting service, a year ago. It was a Mercurial-specific service. Over the last year, we've been adding support for Git as well. So now in Bitbucket, you get your choice of either Git or Mercurial as a distributed version control option. Likewise, when we bought it, it had about 50,000 developers using it. We've just sailed through the 200,000 developer mark, so it's almost tripled in a bit over a year. And since we've added the Git support, the growth has really taken off even further. So thank you to everyone who's tried that. The Bitbucket team is here today, so if you have any feedback, I'm sure they'd love it. Alongside that, we announced the acquisition of SourceTree. If you use distributed version control, you know that clients and tools are really, really important. So we've acquired and made free the best Mac OS X client that we could find that supports both Mercurial and Git. And you're going to be seeing a whole lot more DVCS innovations on top of these two products, and also in Fisheye Crucible in the months to come. Again, with the tweets, a whole lot of people saying that they really like Bitbucket. Looks like the one to beat, really impressed. I could find hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of tweets, in fact, now about Bitbucket. So thank you everyone who's tried it, and we appreciate your feedback. Now, today I wanted to talk about Atlassian's next evolution. We've been going for 9 years, and we want to go one step further. What you've probably noticed by now, if you've seen your hard hats and you've seen your t-shirts, is the first part of that evolution is we've evolved our logo. We've had a number of Charlies, that's the name of the mascot, over the years, and he's taken a number of different forms. We've given him a trim, and he's looking fantastic, if I may say so myself. I love the new logo, I'm a really big fan of it. Alongside that new logo is a new website. You probably haven't seen it because it launched, I'm told, at 4:05. Thanks to the marketing team who've been absolutely working their tails off for the past 6, 7, 8 weeks through all these launches, the new website, everything. They've done a fantastic job. What I'm most proud about with the new website, besides the fact it does a great job of communicating our products to the customers and potential customers out there, as you'd expect a website to do, it does the best job of any website we've put together yet about representing the truly unique company that Atlassian is. We've spent a lot of time in trying to communicate our values as a business, trying to talk about the Atlassian Foundation and how we see corporate philanthropy working into a tech startup. And we spent a lot of time talking about innovation. There's sections on how we run FedEx days, how we run 20% time, our wins and our losses in running those programs. And we're trying to share as much as possible about how we do our software processes so you can improve yours, not just by the tools, but also learn from some of the innovations and some of the things that we're doing in our process. So we've tried to pack all that into the website so you get a good feel for Atlassian as a business by browsing around it, and I'll let you do that in your own time. But today, what we're really here to talk about is SaaS, or Software as a Service. Today marks the first day that Atlassian gets really, truly serious about Software as a Service. Now, we started traditionally as a behind-the-firewall software company. When we started in 2002, that was the standard. Enterprise software was deployed behind the firewall. And we innovated with that model and made it easier for you to get it off the website, easier for you to purchase it. We removed the barriers and took the salespeople out of your way, and you've responded in thousands and thousands, so thank you for that. About 3 years ago, we had customers start to come to us and ask for us to host their tools for them. So we called this offering Atlassian Hosted. And Atlassian Hosted, I will admit, was not the primary focus of Atlassian. It was a secondary business that we were trying to provide a service to the customers in hosting the software for them. It's grown very, very well despite not being a primary business. So it now has more than 3,700 enterprise customers using the Atlassian hosted platform. It's had more than 100% year-on-year growth rate, and it's currently more than a $15 million a year business. Now, for any other startup, these would be amazing metrics. They'd be extremely excited about this. This could be their entire business and they'd still be celebrating. For us, it was a small part of our business and we think we can do a whole lot better. As I talked about our mission of truly empowering hundreds of thousands of teams around the world to use our stuff, we needed to make it more accessible. We needed to do a lot better than 3,700 customers. So that's why today we're launching the new Atlassian OnDemand platform. As I said, this is us truly getting serious about software as a service. Quite simply, in a nutshell, it's basically any Atlassian product available as a service and online instantly. It has all of the attributes you would expect from a SaaS service: ease of configuration, ease to get started, all of those sorts of things. But in true Atlassian style, we've tried to rethink or restructure how SaaS should work. So we've gone quite a bit beyond a traditional SaaS service. So today I'd like to take you through the 5 pillars of the Atlassian OnDemand offering to try to show you how we've thought differently about providing our tools to you guys as a software as a service. The first part of that is the technical platform that we're building on top of. So we've developed a new hardware and software infrastructure platform to run our applications at massive scale in the cloud. We built this all in-house and we're extremely proud of it. Now I could show you, perhaps I could, there we go. I could show you reams and reams and reams of servers that are capable of running tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of Atlassian applications. But it's very hard to look at machines and get excited or really explain what they're doing. So rather than that, I thought I'd tell you a story about the people that built the Atlassian platform. So this is about half of the Atlassian OnDemand team. And in true Atlassian style, and I kid you not, this is a true story, it started about 1.5 years ago with 2 of our systems engineers who were literally in the pub next to our office having a beer, discussing how they thought they could bring higher levels of reliability and much greater scale to our applications in the hosted platform. They were very unhappy with what we were doing in Atlassian hosted. And so in true Atlassian style, they took their 20% time, they made a prototype, they got momentum behind it, demonstrated it to some founders, and it spiraled into a very large project. It's had 60 engineers working on it for more than a year to develop the infrastructure that runs under the Atlassian hosted platform. And it all came from a 20% time project. It has amazing statistics and charts. I could show you tons of charts. It's got faster response time. The reliability is massively improved to the point that we haven't had a single outage in 4 months that we've been running the platform so far. A lot of you may actually be running on it, you just haven't realized yet. We haven't had a single outage in 4 months. Touch wood, that doesn't change with my jinxing the whole thing. But we've built the system to be far more reliable and redundant at all different levels. We've also built it to give you much faster access to the applications. So as a story, previously with the Atlassian hosted platform, it used to take us somewhere near 10 to 14 days to roll out fixes to our applications in the on-demand world. Now we can do that in 15 minutes. So if we have a fast fix that we need to get out, we can roll it out to hundreds of thousands of instances in under 15 minutes. We can update everybody's instance in 60 minutes. What that means for you in terms of products is you'll now be seeing simultaneous releases from Atlassian behind the firewall and in the cloud. So if you're a previous Atlassian hosted customer, you will have noticed there was a 2 or 3 month lag to get your software updated. Now it will be on the same day for all releases from this day forward. We're truly taking the SaaS offering very seriously. The second pillar of the SaaS offering is one of the most interesting, and that is the flexibility that it offers. So we went and surveyed all of our Atlassian hosted customers to ask why they had chosen Atlassian hosted and what they wanted out of it, what it wasn't delivering. And flexibility came back as the #1 point. What do I mean by this flexibility? Well, firstly, one of the things we noticed is that we have a truly unique advantage as a SaaS vendor. We run the same application behind the firewall as in the cloud. Now, why is this important? Well, what it gives you is deployment choice, but not just deployment choice for today, deployment choice for tomorrow. It means if you choose Atlassian behind the firewall, you can move out to the cloud at any time you would like. And we've had customers do that. When they want to integrate with other SaaS services or they want to get rid of the infrastructure cost of running it, they can put that onto us. Vice versa, if you choose the cloud offering, you can move behind the firewall. And we have a strangely larger number of customers doing that. You'd think they're going backwards in time. They're not. So quite often, for example, small projects will start in big companies and they just want to get up and running as quickly as possible. They want to get around internal IT. They just want to get it up and running. You can get Jira online in minutes and start running. From today, you can then take that Jira data and seamlessly import it into a behind the firewall instance should you need to integrate with, for example, internal applications. It's all very seamless to do. I should mention, alongside the new OnDemand platform, we're launching a series of importers. So from today, there's a Jira importer in the OnDemand offering. So if you have a behind-the-firewall Jira instance, you can export the data using the standard export tools, import them into OnDemand, and just keep running. You can move back and forth. So we think having the same apps and the same data is a big advantage in allowing you deployment choice and flexibility going forward. You don't have to choose what you're going to be running in 2 years' time. If you choose the Atlassian stack, we'll be on both sides for you. The second part of flexibility they asked about is what we're calling a la carte, or the flexibility to choose and scale applications. What do I mean by this? I don't mean this in the way that Amazon talks about scaling applications. What I mean is development teams change over time. So for example, you may start with a developer, managers, product owners, a small team. Over time, you add more developers and yet more developers. Perhaps over time, you add testers and designers. And eventually, you have a whole host of folks building this software project. Just like the OnDemand platform itself, it started with 2 people, and now it's up to 60 engineers running on a very large project. What our a la carte offering allows you to do in Atlassian OnDemand is to scale the applications you need and the users who have access to those on an instant basis. So you can now add and remove applications at will, all paid by the month. You can add and remove users and control exactly who has access to what. So if you want 500 people to have access to Confluence for collaboration, 100 people to have access to Jira for their project management, and only 25 people to be able to commit source code, you can do that and you can set it all up yourself. If you move around and you have less people who need source code or more people who need source code, you can manipulate that. It's very easy, and it's a flexibility that we've built in from the start. Now, the third pillar is all about service. Now, it's great to talk about all of the software and all of the hardware and technology that's underlying the Atlassian OnDemand platform. But at the end of the day, it's all about people that are actually behind those servers. And what we're providing you is a service. So we've tried to bring our expertise in service to this platform. Now, we're fanatical about delivering legendary service. Indeed, the first page on the Atlassian website in 2002 talked all about legendary service and our definition of it. We have an 85%, or greater than 85%, I should say, customer satisfaction rating in our support team in all geographies for the last 4 to 6 months. I think we've been above that mark. If you know anything about enterprise software, 85% CSAT is a stratospherically high number, and we think we can go even further. But we haven't just taken this support team and told them, hey, here's a new product that you have to support. What we've done is rethought how they work, their workflows, to map into the on-demand world better. We've got experience through Atlassian Hosted, so we've fundamentally changed what they're offering you guys. So we now have a 24/7 operations team that we've spun up around the world to monitor these applications and make sure they keep running. As we say here, we think about the infrastructure so you can create amazing things. You don't need to worry about it. I contend that we can run our applications better than anybody in the world. Secondly, we've restructured the support team. So we now have the support team for Atlassian OnDemand running in 5 different geographies around the world. As I said, software is a truly global phenomenon in terms of the people that build it. And we're trying to map our support offering to exactly where you are. So if you're in Uzbekistan and you ask a question, we answer in your time zone and we get it back to you immediately. By now you're probably wondering what exactly the applications that we've put into this platform are. I've saved some of the best for last. So in the Atlassian OnDemand platform, you get, as we would expect, all of the foundation applications. So you get Jira for issue tracking, Greenhopper for your agile project management and task boards, the new Rapid board. You also, of course, get Confluence for collaboration. As of today, OnDemand is launching with Confluence 4.0, so you get all of the editor goodness that we've just seen in the OnDemand platform. As I mentioned, from today, we'll be doing simultaneous releases. So when 4.1 comes out with all the new editor goodness, you'll get it on the day we put it up on the website. We've brought all of our existing development tools to this on-demand platform. Again, as I said, a la carte. So you can start with Jira, you can then go and add Fisher and Crucible for your source code analytics, code review, Bitbucket for DVCS, so with both Git and Mercurial integrated into Jira, and obviously Bamboo for continuous deployment and continuous integration. And I don't have to tell you, but the cloud brings significant advantages there in terms of adding servers if you want to do more and more building of your software. We're also launching today all of our new applications. So Team Calendars comes alongside Confluence 4 if you want to add it on for event management. Bonfire, if you want to add your QA team down the line for agile web testing, it's there. We're also adding something that we launched in beta at the summit today, is launching as a version 1, which is Jira Mobile Connect. Now, if any of you are building mobile applications, this is by far the best way to do any sort of crash reporting, bug management, or user feedback testing on a mobile application and have it seamlessly end up in your Jira instance, organized with all sorts of analytics about where the customer is, what versions of which iOS operating system they're running, etc. But more than that, it allows you to create a two-way feedback loop. So if you comment on the bug in Jira that the user submitted, they just get a very nice SMS-like dialogue in their phone application, wherever they are, and you can interact with your developers and testers in that way. Jira Mobile Connect is in the Atlassian OnDemand platform. And we've taken all of our applications and put them into one integrated offering. So as you add them on, you'll see them start to just appear around the interface in very seamless ways. So you get integrated navigation, you get an activity stream that shows you all of the entries, so as soon as you add fisheye, you'll just start getting source code. You won't have to change your activity. But beyond our applications, we wanted to integrate with everybody else's applications as well. So we've spent a lot of time and a lot of partners, I know a lot of you here today, working with our partners to integrate the best-of-breed SaaS applications that are available into the Atlassian OnDemand platform. Again, as I talked about, a la carte. You can turn them all on instantly. So let's have a look at some of our launch partners today. So for example, we have the best Google Apps integration that is available. If you use Google Apps, if you're a small startup using it for your mail, for anything else, you can add on Jira very seamlessly and translate back and forth. It integrates the navigation. It does a whole series of things that are really, really good. As I mentioned, the software team is a disparate group of folks now that have to come together successfully to make all of the amazing products that we use. If you're using Zendesk, for example, for customer support, or Salesforce for your sales team, they can now pass data in and out of Jira seamlessly. And you can set up these integrations in minutes. They're all integrated into the Atlassian OnDemand platform. Now we have a whole series more integrations coming down the pipeline, so you'll be seeing launches for us on pretty much a monthly basis from now on with new SaaS integrations. We chose this group because they're the best-of-breed tools that are available today. We use these tools, and we know a lot of you use these tools because we've talked to you about what you wanted. But you'll be seeing a lot more here. So rather than seeing more and more logos, I wanted to take a minute to hear from some of our on-demand customers that are using the platform today and tell you in their words why they chose to put their development team onto the Atlassian stack in the cloud. So Evernote, how many people use Evernote? Okay, a lot. Excuse me. Evernote is an innovative application for those who don't use it, aiming to store your human memories in software, if you like. So they have a whole series of different applications from your phone to the desktop to the web. Evernote has just moved onto the Atlassian OnDemand platform. They were actually one of our customers that moved onto the platform before we launched the platform. They started trialing it a few months ago. They moved on and purchased, I think 2 months ago, and they've actually been using the new platform, the new infrastructure, and for a couple of months now, and they chose to purchase on that basis. So Evernote has more than 50 engineers in 9 different countries around the world. It's a very distributed engineering team. They have 20 different projects. If you think about all the software they're trying to build, from iPhone to Android to desktop to web, there's a lot of things that team needs to build. And they need to really come together. So they chose the Atlassian OnDemand platform, as you can read from this quote from their VP of products. One of the other reasons they chose it, and they just raised a stupendously large round of funding, I think it was $50 million, what they needed is a platform that could scale with them into the future. As they grew their engineering team, as they grew their offerings, they wanted to choose a platform that would be there in 2 or 3 years' time. And they chose the Atlassian OnDemand offering. So let's look at more of our traditional customers. So it's all well and good, and we expect startups to join the new and innovative platforms. Let's talk about healthcare, an industry you would probably not associate with adopting new technology very, very fast. So John Muir Health is one of our oldest Atlassian customers. They've been with us for, I think, 6 or 7 years. They currently run 12 Atlassian servers in-house. 5,000 employees, a couple of hundred people in engineering. It's a big traditional IT organization. And they've used Atlassian products, as I mentioned, for 5 or 6 years now. When they had a new project that they were starting, that project needed to deal with external contractors. And they needed a way to do this. That was why they chose the Atlassian OnDemand platform. So they needed for a new project that dealt with people outside of the company, and rather than setting up the firewall rules and everything else, they chose to use Atlassian OnDemand to build that, as he says, transparency and visibility of their development program. So it's great to have customers who are both behind the firewall customers and on-demand customers. And thirdly, what about small companies? So these are both relatively large companies. Wordnik is one of my favorite small and I think unsung San Francisco-based startups. So WordNet, quite simply, has a huge vision. What they want to do is reimagine the dictionary for the 21st century. That's a fairly large undertaking with something as old as a dictionary. They're a small company, so I think they have 7 people now, about 7 engineers. And I wanted to flick to Tony Tan to tell you a little bit about why his small engineering startup with grand ambitions chose the Atlassian OnDemand platform.
When I joined the company, there was 3 of us, and we were using 3 different systems. We had Docs, a different bug tracker that was pretty painful, and then we were using a standalone wiki product. The disjointness of them was a pain. I had this impression that it might be out of reach and too complicated for us, but when we looked into the hosted options and then the size and then the a la carte style picking features, it was a no-brainer for us. So everyone was familiar with it. Jira, writing a Jira is like making a Xerox, right? It's a verb. So my number one thing is plan to succeed, right? And put the right things in place. So like maybe you don't need a build system like you offer, right? Maybe you don't need that right now, but if you get on a platform that offers that later, and you can plug it in when you're big enough or you're ready for that, then you're going to be in a good place, right? You don't need to migrate 5,000 spreadsheets into a bug tracker.
So that's why Tony chose it. I love his phrase, plan to succeed, right? He's starting a small business with a very large vision, and he's choosing the best tool set that he thinks can scale with him all the way from 5 engineers to 5,000 engineers. And that's why they chose to use the Atlassian OnDemand platform. I believe at the moment they're just using Jira and Bitbucket, but I may be wrong. So that's some of our customers and why they've chosen to use the Atlassian OnDemand platform. And we've talked about the first 4 of the 5 pillars. We've talked about the amazing infrastructure and technical platform that we've built. I'm happy to talk at beers afterwards and explain to you all the things that we've done there from a nerd perspective. We talked about the flexibility that we've thought about what the customers need, both in terms of having the same data and the same apps, the unique advantages that we bring as a vendor, and the flexibility to add and remove, to have your development tools scale with your organization and your projects. We talked about the reinvention of support to map to this on-demand world and the fact that we're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to run your applications for you. And we talked about bringing all of the new Atlassian applications into the on-demand world alongside the foundation ones, and all of the integrations that you can turn on instantly with the best-of-breed SaaS applications that we use and that you guys use as well. But there's one pillar we haven't talked about, and that's price. So as I mentioned, when Scott and I started the business, what we really wanted to do was empower people around the world to use the best tool set available at an accessible price. And we've done that behind the firewall, and we've constantly tried to keep our prices as low as possible to build that scale and to make it accessible to, as I said, 125,000 active servers running today, and we think we can go a lot further. So the question is, how can we go well beyond that in terms of price with OnDemand? Well, previously in the Atlassian hosted offering, we were $150 a month for 10 users if you were using Jira, or $150 a month for 10 users if you were using Confluence. Now, compared to a lot of our competition, that was an extremely affordable price already. But given the brilliance of the Atlassian engineering team to build this new platform, and the way we've restructured our support team to be more globally distributed, we can bring that price down from tonight to just $10 for 10 users for any Atlassian application, right? I can see all the people smiling in the back. That's wonderful. $10 is a truly phenomenal price point if you think about the software that you're getting, right? You get all of the benefits of the 24/7 monitoring and support team alongside the best development stack in the world, starting at just $10. We're trying to make this accessible, as we said, to hundreds of thousands of teams around the world. And we think at $10, we have a great shot of doing that. I'll give you an example of how that might work with a la carte in terms of scaling. So I've mocked up a receipt. Trust me, it doesn't look like this if you actually buy it. $10 for Jira for 10 users. If you're like Tony, you just want to get started, he pays us $10 a month, right? As his team grows or he wants to add other applications, he can turn that on at a minute's notice. If he wants to add Confluence now, it takes him seconds to go and add Confluence, $10 for 10 users. Perhaps he gets bigger and he hires a QA person. The QA person says, I'd really like to use Bonfire to test our web application, to test this new dictionary. Okay, add it on, $10 for 10 users. As I mentioned, $10 a month for any application that Atlassian can deliver you instantly. It's a truly revolutionary price point, and I'm excited to scale to the hundreds of thousands more teams, and we built the platform to get there. Let me conclude by passing over to my mate Dave, who will spend a little time summarizing what I've tried to get into these slides in an amusing video that we've put together for you today.
Meet Dave. He's the lead engineer on a small development team collaborating to create an awesome new app. But his development tools aren't getting along. Yeah, they won't integrate, and it's giving him headaches and making collaboration with his team difficult. He's also getting bogged down with software upgrades and maintenance releases, which takes his focus off his team and off the project. Dave needs an interconnected suite of development tools that work well together, and he'd love for them to be hosted so he can focus on his app, not on his tools. Great news. Atlassian OnDemand takes an award-winning suite of software development tools into the cloud, providing teams like Dave's with greater affordability, customizability, and connectivity. With Atlassian OnDemand, Dave and his team have access to issue and project tracking tools, agile planning boards, content collaboration, and source control, all fully integrated and ready to help take them from concept to launch. He can even turn applications on and off and pay for only what he uses, so his team can spend less time worrying about infrastructure and more time building better software. Atlassian OnDemand also integrates seamlessly with the products and services Dave relies on to run his business, like Salesforce, Zendesk, GetSatisfaction, Google, and more. So whether you're working on a small open source project, like Dave, or your next big commercial release, give your team the right tools to quickly deliver great software, starting at just $10 a month for 10 users. Try Atlassian OnDemand risk-free for 30 days. It's like riding wild unicorns.
So that is the Atlassian OnDemand stack in a nutshell. Any Atlassian product as a service instantly. As I mentioned, starting from just $10 for 10 users. If Scott and I had had these tools when we started 9 years ago, it would absolutely have been our default choice of what to build on top of. Right? $10, it's a total no-brainer for the quality of these tools. And I'm incredibly proud of the entire Atlassian team. It's been a hell of a slog. It's been our largest engineering project to get here. So we're going to go and celebrate and have a few drinks. I hope you will all join us. If you're around the world watching, I hope you're still watching, and thank you very much for tuning in and for your loyalty from Uzbekistan to Stockholm to Mumbai and beyond. Thank you very much. Try the Atlassian OnDemand platform, atlassian.com/ondemand. Thank you very much.